Welcome into your tiny reading for the week. I am T from Tiny Divinations, here to break down the cards with you. So, before we get into it, make sure you're following the channel, share this message with somebody who needs it, and follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. We have our three piles as usual. Pick the pile or piles you are drawn to. And this time we have our numbers already shown. So you can pick the number that you are drawn to from 0 to 10, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome in pile 1. Let's get into your reading. So, the card that you chose is joy. Open your heart to joy, and your life will change forever. So, the energy we have to start off is definitely light. It's fun, it's happy, it's airy. You may be feeling that this week. There may be moments of joy that you have this week. Your life may be feeling really full this week. There's a lot of color in this card. You may be smiling a lot this week, so that may be part of it. Let's look at the questions on the back. So ask yourself, these are some of the things you might want to consider this week. What brings you joy? What are your beliefs on life? How does joy touch your life? So these are some things you may want to think about this week, or some things that may be brought up for you this week in terms of what brings you joy and things that are bringing you joy and you really sitting with that this week. What are your beliefs on life? This may be something that comes up this week where you're having to really sit with what you think or what you believe, or have your moves reflect your beliefs. And then you have how does joy touch your life, which goes to me similar to what brings joy to your life, and really sitting with those moments, and not only savoring them and being grateful for them, but recognizing what is a part of that. Like, what are those things that make you feel joyous, so that you can have that information available to you. Affirmation: I connect with all the beauty of the universe and bathe in its glory. I bring joy to my life with gratitude and love. So I love that. Let's see what other energies we have for this week. Shame. I can't believe I did that. Okay. Valued. I am important. Okay, we're going to take the one on the top of this. Okay. Okay, so some of the other energies we have for this week, I've moved them a little bit, are valued. I am important. Shame. I can't believe I did that. And not letting go, resentment. So, starting with the shame and the resentment, okay, I feel like there's this energy this week to kind of ruminate on things that you've done or something that's happened, kind of replay things in your mind, to make a mistake and kind of replay it in your mind, or really beat yourself up about it. It could be vice versa, where it could be somebody trying to beat you up about something that happened, or a mistake that you made, or a misstep that was had. And I feel like that the shame and the resentment kind of go together in that way. um, Ask yourself, what have you done to feel so bad? What do you wish you had done differently? What can you learn from this? So within the shame card that we have this week, like I said, it could be a very small mistake. It could be something that was just a misstep, or misunderstanding or miscommunication. This could be something from the past that's coming up this week that you've done, that's like playing on your mind, or that somebody else has done that's playing on your mind, that has caused you resentments. Again, it's a matter of like, uh, are we going to continue to hold on to this energy? This is part of what I talk about in part 2 of our May collective reading. It takes more energy for you to hold on to these things than it does for you to be able to kind of forgive. That doesn't mean to condone, like I say in the podcast. Definitely go listen to that episode. It's out now. But what I feel like in terms of this energy, like I said, I feel like it's people replaying things, that either you're replaying something that you've done, or you're replaying something that somebody else has done, and that's where the resentments comes in, the holding on to. Okay, so we really have to figure out, like, is this worth holding on to? Is this worth my energy? And like, can I just take what the lesson is from this and move on? Affirmation: mistakes help us grow on our spiritual paths. I live in peace, harmony, and acceptance of myself and others. Let this new day begin. Okay, every day is a new day. You have the choice. Let it go, carry it, hold on to it, feel that anger, move in a different way and let it go. It's up to you. Then we have resentment, not letting go. What are you resentful about? And I feel like part of this comes up so that you can really sit with what you're feeling, not just feeling it, not just feeling angry, not just giving off how you're feeling this week, but like really sitting with yourself and asking, like, okay, why am I feeling this way? Or if it's somebody bringing that energy to you, being, compassionate enough or empathetic enough to think to yourself, okay, what is at the root of why they're feeling this way? Or maybe asking them to ask themselves a question, right? How do you think being resentful affects your life? And really sitting with the answers. What needs to happen for you to feel better about this? And again, if this is for somebody else that's feeling resentful towards you, excuse me, then these would be the questions, if we're able to have a conversation, that I would want them to answer, so that we can get to the heart of what we're feeling and what they're feeling. And if I am really apologetic or really wanting to move forward with this person, or having to have to move forward with this person, then these are the conversations that we need to have. And I need to be empathetic enough to listen to them, so that I can, change course, or have them understand that they're heard. Affirmation: I can be forgiving without forgetting. I am ready to move on and be at peace within. And moving on, like I said, could look like you having a conversation with the person, or it could look like you just moving differently and, like, leaving the situation where it is. But being able to leave that energy where it is, that resentment, that anger, that frustration, right? That hurt. And especially if that's something is towards something that you did, a mistake that you've made. If you are now, in different thinking, and you're making different moves, and you're in, like, right action in a way, then like you shouldn't still be feeling and carrying that shame. Okay. And then we have valued, and I feel like that leads perfectly into valued. Okay. We need to recognize that you are important. We need to recognize who is important around us. Okay, and why they're important and what that means. If these people are valued, if I'm valued, then what does that mean? How do I move? How do I act in kind, right? How do I make myself feel more valued? So ask yourself, what do you value? In what ways are you proud of yourself and your achievements? What are your strengths and talents? And all of these things may come up this week in different iterations, whether it's asking, like, something that comes up that makes you have to ask yourself one of these questions, or sit with one of these things, or you may have these things happen where you have, achievements to be proud of, or you have to use your strengths and talents in a way that it's very cognizant to you, you know what I mean? Or it's like very conscious. You may be asked, like I said before, in terms of sitting with what your values are, and either moving in right action for those values, or having to share those values, or having to, you know, um, stand 10 toes in those values if somebody else is going, the opposite of that. Affirmation: I love and accept myself completely for being me. I am a perfect human being. Okay, so this is the energy that I'm getting for your week. Let's move into some specific things that may happen. Okay, so let's get into some specific things that may happen using some charms. I apologize, y'all. You know it's loud. Okay. Okay, so the charms we have are a fairy, the Leo charm, a hand with a heart in it, a horse, a 2 on the die, the Eye of Horus, some fangs, ballerina slippers, an airplane, and the moon. So the first thing that's interesting to me that I picked up on is that we have the moon and the number two is related to the moon. Okay. And so it feels like there's definitely going to be maybe some emotions this week. We may be very intuitive this week. You want to watch your dreams. You want to pay attention to signs and symbols and any messages that you get. You may have a bird just flew past my window. I don't know what kind of bird it was. Definitely pay my attention to messages, okay? Because that. Um, you may be like have heightened emotions or heightened intuition. There may be things that come to the surface that you're feeling. We may have gone over some of those things in the energy cards, like with the resentment or the shame. So that's definitely the first thing that I picked up on. The next thing that I picked up on was we have this horse, we have the airplane, and then we have the ballerina shoes. And so there's a lot of movement within this week. So it feels like either people will be traveling, you may be starting a new activity or practice, you may be getting back into it, you may be like spending more time in terms of like working out, doing some kind of exercise, doing some kind of activity. We also have the hand here. So it could be doing an activity that has to do with your hands or something that you really love. We have the horse here. And so, again, it just feels like there's movement, there's things that we're doing, shit is happening. There may be a lot of things happening this week. There may be a lot of things that you're doing this week. Like I said, people may be literally traveling. So, that's some of what I was getting there. Also, we have the fairy with the wings. So, there's movement there. The fairy and the wings and the Leo charm together made me think of like whimsy and joy, being funny, having a fun time. We may be around funny people this week. We may be outside more this week because we have the travel and the fairy and the Leo. So we may be seen this week. There may be a light shown on us this week. There may be ways in which we are like reaping rewards or somewhat in the spotlight somehow. There may be like flirty energy this week with these. These two just gave me whimsy and like feeling very whimsical. We have the Eye of Horus in the middle. The Eye of Horus has to do with protection and our well-being. This with the hand next to it also made me think if you are somebody who does workings, you may want to do some protection work. You may want to do some work that has to do with healing if that's something that you've been thinking about. You may want to do some kind of self-love work because we have the heart within the hand. So, like, all of those things kind of came together with me with the Eye of Horus. But in general, we are dealing with specific things this week in terms of our well being, being on our P's and Q's in terms of our protections, like making sure we're seeing things as is, making sure we're taking time to get to the bottom of things and working through things like that. Okay. We have the Fang that's kind of over here to the side, and with the Eye of Horus and the protection, this also makes me think that there may be like some issues lurking or to be mindful of like those resentful feelings coming out in like a nasty way, whether that's from you or from somebody else. Be mindful of people's intentions this week. Again, you have that intuitive energy. So if you feel something, if you get a message, pay attention to that thing. Don't dismiss the things that you feel or that you hear or that you see. You know what I mean? Don't dismiss the things you don't see. I always say that, but that's because it's true. Okay. And then with the hand, again, with the heart, we're doing things, like I said, that we love this week. It feels like we are getting a hold on things this week. We are using our hands in activities this week. We may be using our hands more. You may be building things, something like that around the house. That was very specific for somebody. But yeah, this is some of what I'm getting for the specific things that may happen this week. Let me just see if there's anything else. Okay, only thing that popped out was a star card. Anything else? I'm not getting anything else. Okay, so star card, all in all, we are making sure we maintain faith and hope this week. We talk in our monthly collective reading in the part one about faith and works working together this month. And this card kind of brings in that faith element. You may definitely need to persevere this week. You may be feeling like you're, lacking on your faith, or you're either needing to put in more faith, is because you're just not sure, you don't have all the information, or things are maybe up in the air, you're having to wait, having to have patience on things, you know what I mean? So make sure that you maintain the faith for those people that are having those situations. This also speaks to me about just adding in prayer, being in a spiritual space, adding your petitions, being like steeped in your practice in a way this week, um, really utilizing your practice and things that you know and that you do. It's also the energy of like staying positive, being inspired, looking and asking for like inspiration, asking for help, asking for opening, asking for a way, So this is the energy that I'm getting from the star card, and the energy that I get for the specific things that are going to happen this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. Okay, so we are using our angel number cards. And then there's an airplane that flies over. Yeah, somebody's going somewhere this week, or you're buying plane tickets, you're planning your travel this week. That's definitely a thing, even if it's in a car. Okay. 1122. Great shift. Transformation, spiritual awakening, manifestation, unity, alignment, fulfillment, expansion. First, acknowledge the positive changes unfolding as a result of your hard work. I love that because we kind of talked about that. Then, open your mind to new possibilities and allow yourself to explore new avenues. And many positive shifts are on the horizon. The world around you is aligning with your intentions, supporting your growth and dreams. So, that is your words of wisdom for this week, y'all. And this was your reading. So thank you so much for being with me. Let me know how your week is. Let me know how these things resonate, how the things play out. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. Follow the channel. Share this message with somebody who needs it. Follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. Make sure you listen to Tiny Musings with T, our podcast. Part 1 of May is out right now. Part 2 should be out when this reading comes out. If not, it'll be out in a couple of days. And yeah, thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you. I will see you in another pile if you have another pile or picked another number. And if not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in pile 2. Let's get into your reading. So, the card that you have is love. Love is everything. The key to life, the color of my heart. So I love this energy for you. Okay. It feels similar to pile 1. It feels full. It feels like you're either in love with something that you're doing, or you're in love with just where you are right now. You're feeling good this week. You may be literally feeling someone, feeling like you love them, feeling really lustful, feeling just like kind of full with the interactions that you're having. You could be wanting this energy if you're not feeling this. You also have the key to life, the color of my heart. And so it's a matter of like moving from your heart space as well, doing things that you love, moving through the eyes of love, right? Moving in alignment with the things that you love, being able to say no to the things that you don't, so that you can move in alignment with the things that you love. Let's see what the questions are on the back. Excuse me. How does love touch your life? What memories and feelings do you associate with love? Are you loving towards yourself? So let me just go to 2. I feel like specifically as I was reading that, that made me think to myself, there may be people who are dating people and you're questioning what you're feeling or how deep it is or whatever. And so, what memories and feelings do you associate with love? Is definitely a good question. But do you associate with the relationship that you wanted prior to this person coming in? Do they fit these things? What ways don't they fit these things? These would all be questions that I ask myself if that is what you're going through this week. How does love touch your life? To me, has to do with being mindful of the things that are coming up that you love, that are fulfilling to you. Like I said, very similar to pile 1. So if you're we're feeling drawn to that pile, definitely go and watch that. Are you loving towards yourself? How are we speaking to ourselves? How are we building ourselves up? What do we feel about ourselves? What are the ways that we are accepting of the things that we are and do? What ways are we trying to change the things that we're not super into anymore? Like these are the things that would come up with that question. And in general, these things may come up with the questions that are here, right? Like how love touches your life may come up specifically this week. Memories and feelings that you associate with love, or a person that you loved, or situations that you love may come up this week in terms of this question. And then, like, how you talk to yourself may come up, whether you're talking to yourself in a negative way, whether you are feeding yourself specifically, like figuratively or literally, whether you're just nice towards yourself, whether you put in self care, whether you do things for yourself, or if it's all about everybody else, or if you just neglect like all of these are things that are important this week. Affirmation: I am love. Love flows toward me, excuse me, love flows through me and beyond me. Love is the key to everything. Okay, so this is definitely a good one to use if you're working on some self love this week. Let's see what other energies we have. So I'm using the mood cards. Confident. I am who I am, comfortable in my skin. Again, talking about for those who are dealing with the love work, like being confident, singing your power for that self-love work. You may be feeling confident in general this week. We have that love, we have that confidence, so that makes sense to me. If you're like loving your week, then you also feel powerful within yourself or within what you're doing. Real quick, what does confidence mean to you? In what areas of your life are you most confident? How did you come to this point? This kind of would take me over here to the worried, anxious, and uneasy, scared, and concerned. If there are things that come up this week that you're worried about, that you're scared about, that you don't have the answers to, that you're unsure about, I would remind myself where I'm most confident, how I got to that point, what things led me to that. You know what I mean? So that we can kind of affirm ourselves a little bit and maybe get ourselves from this worried place. What advice could you offer others on confidence? And then again, I would answer this and take that advice if I was feeling that way. Okay. Affirmation: I totally and fully believe in myself. I'm strong and powerful. I'm confident. And if you don't believe that, and if you're working on that self love work this week, then we need to say it, right? If we're feeling this way, then definitely like move in kind, do what the most confident version of you would do and take life by the balls in a way. Um, don't, um, don't play it too small, or don't like talk yourself out of things. Just, move within the power that you know that you have and who you are. Then we have worried. So, like I said, there may be something that comes up this week that. Then we have worried. So, like I said, we may have things that we are worried about. We may have some anxieties this week. We may have things that we don't have answers for, or things that we're unsure about. Okay. Let's get into the questions. How much time in a day do you spend worrying? What specifically are you worried about? And that may be in general, or that may be very specific to this week. How does worrying affect you? Can you do anything about the situation that will help? How do you relax and switch off from your thoughts? So there's energy within this that you need to take time out. There's energy in this that you need to clear your thoughts. You need to make sure that you're not sitting in your most vulnerable thoughts, that you're not allowing things to replay in your mind. How does this worry affect you? Again, being mindful of your health and your mental capacity, what this is doing, how worrying about a situation may cause you to make mistakes or to be on edge, or whatever it is that it causes in your body. Okay. And then how much time and energy are we giving to this? Is this productive? Is this helping you? You know, do we want to change that? Like, these are the things that are coming up with the worried card. So, this is what I'm getting from the energies of your week. Let's move into some specific things that may happen. Okay, so we are going to pull some charms to see what specific things we have going on this week. I apologize, y'all. It's a little loud. lot going on. Okay. So the charms we have are Bast, the Hamza, butterflies, a love card, the Leo charm, a scissor, a mushroom, a fairy, a heart with a cross and an arrow. I gotta do it again. Okay, so we have a lot of charms, right? We have the Leo charm, we have a love card, we have multiple butterflies, we have a scissor, we have a Hamza, we have Ubast, we have a fairy, we have a heart with a cross and an arrow, we have the infinity sign, a seashell, a music note, the strength card, the other mother from Coraline, we have a spider web, and some handcuffs and a worm. So we have multiple butterflies in this pool. So there's definitely transformation energy. Within the butterflies, we have also the mushroom, we have the worm. So we have different phases of transformation within this week. So people are going to be in different phases of transformation. You may be just starting something, you may be trying to finish something so that you can move on to something else. It may have already ended and you're already on your way into something else, or you may have just started the new thing. With the strength card, the spider web, and the handcuffs, I also thought about people getting or eradicating themselves from situations where you're feeling bound or like you're feeling stuck in, and having to kind of quietly move out of these situations, or you're quietly finding something else, or quietly you've been like taking things out of your desk drawer or something, or like it's not a show of strength. There's something about it that you have to move quietly or silently. The other mother from Coraline is also above these charms. So I definitely think for some people that are leaving, people aren't going to be happy with you leaving or transitioning. We also have the scissor charm. And so there are definitely people that are going to be cutting people off this week or needing to just cut them out or cut situations out. Then we have the music note next to the other mother. So this is very specific for people who are artists, for people who maybe singers, for people who are working with other people. Be mindful of who you're working with. Be mindful of them trying to latch onto you. Be mindful of them draining your energy. Be mindful of them trying to steal your work or your project. There's something about it that was very specific. So, like I said, if you are an artist of any kind, just be mindful of the people around you, the people who you're working with and commingling with. Then we have the seashell. And the seashell made me think of beautiful moments that we're going to have this week. Being able to find things that we may lose this week, being able to pay attention and like catch on to things, or pick up on things this week as well, or just having moments of beauty within our week. The seashell with the Ubast and the Hamza charm also made me think of protection. These charms don't have just a protective mother energy, but there's a celestial protection. And so we may need to call in protections this week. We may feel the need to protect others and be very motherly, or to like have that motherly protection over ourselves or our work. The fairy brings fun, energy, and magic into our week as well as movement. It's similar movement to the butterflies that we have. And with the Hamsa, it feels like the moves we make this week are very protected within that protection energy that we were just talking about. And so it's safe to transition and move, especially moving into things that you love, especially moving into things that are guided. Okay. Then we have the Leo charm. And so there's ways in which people may be generous to you this week. You may receive gifts, you may receive unexpected things, or you may want to be generous and give to other people this week. You may be feeling extra giving or loving. And then with our love card and the hearts that we have, it brings back in that love energy that we had from the energy cards. So seeing things through the eyes of love, moving through spaces of love, moving towards the things that we love. This is part of the energy that we're going to have to embody to move through this week. And then we have our infinity signs. So we have a lot of opportunity within this week. We have things that are moving or percolating, whether we can see them or not. There may be opportunities that come that are available to us because, like I said, we have these situations that we're transitioning out of. So some people are in places to be able to accept the opportunities that are coming in and moving. We have people that are having the opportunities come in because you've gotten yourself out of these stuck situations. The infinity symbol also gives perseverance. We have the worm down here as well. And so there's this energy of continuing to move, continuing to take yourself one inch at a time towards where you're trying to go or towards the opportunities that you're looking for. The mushroom brings back in this transformation energy, but also there's this energy of being able to move through dimensions or to astral travel or to be able to better hear the other side. There may also be people that are taking illicit things that would help you to be able to move through the veil in a sense, or move through dimensions, or be able to uncover things that you may not have been able to uncover in your normal state of mind or in your normal everyday movings, if you get what I'm saying. So, this is what I'm seeing from the charms that we have and the specific things that are going to happen. Let me just pull a card, see if there's anything else. And the card we have is the lovers. So again, this love energy coming into your week. There could definitely be some passion, some romance because we have this lovers card. People could definitely be infatuated with people. You could just be loving life. There could be things that you're really passionate about. There could be a partnership that is kismet. There could be like a soul connection. You could have kismet conversations this week, or really just meet somebody that you feel like is just really connected to you, or that really gets you. It could be that things are really growing and happening for you because we have those roses at the bottom. It feels like loving life. It feels like romance. It feels like people could be receiving flowers or receiving love, like gifts, or things, people letting you know how they feel about you. We also have the cards, so that could also be love notes or people expressing love to you. We also have these handcuffs here, so it could also be, dealing with our passions or something a little, more freaky in terms of love. So, this is what I'm getting in terms of the specific things that we're dealing with this week. Let's get some words of wisdom. Okay, so let's end your reading with some words of wisdom. We are using our angel number cards. Okay. 444. Blessing in disguise. Obstacles, resilience, strength, character building, experience, transformation. Challenges may lie ahead, but you have the strength to overcome them. If you felt lost, know that the winds of change are now blowing in your favor. Though some things may fall apart, you're building the foundation of something better. Stay strong and keep moving forward. Then you have 0550, the eye candy. Intuition, creativity, aesthetics, expression, networking, harmony, potential, romance. Take a break to enjoy fresh air or gather with friends for a delightful time. Appreciate the natural beauty around you waiting to be discovered. You may soon start a new exciting project or enjoy a charming date. Use your charisma to connect with others and create meaningful interactions wherever you go. Okay, so this is your words of wisdom. And this was your reading, y'all. So thank you so much for reading with me. Please let me know how your week is. Please let me know about all the love that you were feeling this week, what is going on. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. Follow the channel, share the reading with somebody who needs a message. Follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. Follow Tiny Musings with T, our podcast, so that you can get our Tiny Collective readings. May part one is out right now. Part two should be out as of when this reading comes out, but if it's not, it will come out in a day or two. And yeah, thank y'all so much again for being here. I appreciate you so much. I will see you in your other piles if you have another pile, or if you picked another number. And if not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in pile three. Let's get into your cards. So, the card that you have for the energy of your week is lonely. I feel so lonely. So, from the beginning, we have the energy of possibly isolation. You may be feeling left out. You may be feeling, like it says, alone. You may be feeling just kind of off. Maybe like you can't reach out to people, or nobody's reaching out to you, or people aren't responding to you. You may be feeling like you don't really have anybody to relate to, things like that. Let's see what the questions are on the back. How did you get to this point? Is there anyone in your life that you could talk to or get support from? What could you do to help yourself? So, based on the questions that we have on the back, these may be things that we're feeling or we're going through this week. So, for example, how did I get to this point? There may be something where you feel like things are kind of at rock bottom for whatever the situation is, or you're confused on how things got to the point that they got to, or how things may have gotten bad, or how you may have gotten to the point where you feel alone in the situation or in general. It may be in terms of, is there anyone in your life that you can talk to, that there is support that you can seek that you're not asking for, that there are people that you could talk to or advice that you could get or people that you could lean on for support that you're not reaching out to. It may be the realization that you don't have those people around and that that's actually something that you want. Maybe at one point in time it wasn't, or maybe it wasn't important to you, or you thought that it wasn't, and now you're recognizing this week that it is, right? What could you do to help yourself? Again, if there's something that goes wrong this week, or there's a way in which you feel isolated or you don't have anybody, how can you pick yourself up out of the situation? If like I said, you really don't have the people around you that you can call on or you want to call on in this way. Affirmation. I am an important part of the human race and look forward to connecting with others. Just because you may be feeling lonely right now or isolated, it may be that you, like I said, you need to reach out. It may be that you need to form a new circle. It may be that you need to kind of explore and find new like-minded people. Like, there could be a number of different ways that this plays out. So let's get some more cards for the energy of your week. Okay. Brave, I can and I will. Oh, we got this one last pile. Worried, anxious and uneasy, scared and concerned. Positive. Move these over. I'm inspired, motivated, and proactive. I make the best of every situation. Okay, so I switched the cards around a little bit. The next card we have, I'm going to go to, is worried, anxious and uneasy, scared and concerned. Okay, so we have this feeling of lonely, we have this worried energy. So I definitely feel like this pile, the people that pick these numbers are kind of maybe in their head this week. It may be about something specific. It may be a certain, space or time of this week. It may be just in general this week where you like come back to these lonely thoughts, you come back to these anxious thoughts, or the things that you were worried about or anxious about or scared about cause you to feel lonely, isolated, alone, like you don't have anybody. Feeling lonely, isolated, like you don't have anybody, could make you worried, anxious, scared, concerned. So these things feel like they kind of play off of each other. Worried. How much time in the day do you spend worrying? What specifically are you worried about? How does worrying affect you? Can you do anything about the situation that will help? How do you relax and switch off from your thoughts? So, like I said, it feels like you're definitely in your head this week. There may be a lot of thoughts. There may be thoughts that kind of like pop up out of nowhere. You definitely want to see how much time you spend on worrying, whether it's about something very specific that's happening this week, whether it's stemming from feeling lonely. How much time are you putting to that? How much energy are you putting to that? How much energy are we putting into fixing it as much as we're putting into like sitting in that space? That's really key to ask in this group as well. How does worrying affect you? how can you do anything about the situation? Excuse me, can you do anything about the situation that will help? So, also within this, I feel like within the how does worry affect you? I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't talk, y'all. I feel like you may also push people away in some cases, or you may isolate yourself, or you may put yourself in like a space where you don't have anybody, and then you feel lonely when you're not actually lonely. But when you get in your head, when you get to worrying, when you get anxious, when you're scared about something, you may not want to share with everybody. You may get like walled up about your personal shit. You may, like I said, isolate yourself and not respond to people. And so then you look up and you're like, oh, I don't have anybody. I feel alone. But it's partially because you've kind of pushed people away. Okay. So be mindful of that and having that energy this week as well. Then we have brave. I can and I will. Okay. So if there is something that's going on, or you have to power through and push yourself to do something because you don't have that motivation, that circle, that support, you can do it. Okay. You may be scared of doing it, but part of being brave is doing it even when you're scared, doing it despite your anxieties, your fears, your concerns, doing it regardless of if anybody else is with you or not, and feeling um, confident enough to try. Okay. I can and I will. Ask yourself, what does it take to be brave? What has been your hardest challenge? How did you cope? So, all of this may come up this week in terms of the energies that you deal with. What does it take to be brave? There may be ways in which you are asked or called to be brave and to show up in ways, or to like show what that looks like to you, right? With the hardest challenges, it may not necessarily be that you have your hardest challenge this week, but you may have something that challenges you, and you have to remind yourself, this ain't the hardest shit I've been through. This shit ain't even hard, right? I can actually get through this if I look at the ways in which I maneuvered the last time something was like this, or when shit was even harder than this. I made it through. I got out. I came on the other side. I did X, Y, and Z. Okay. And that's how I'm going to make it through whatever challenges you have going on this week, as well as how did you cope. Remember to put in coping skills. Don't just deal in these feelings. Okay. But like figure out how you can move through those feelings, or how you can get to the bottom of those feelings, or how you can get to the depths of like what you're actually going through, and or in those moments find tools to like help you move through them, like find things that help you, um I can't think of a better word than cope, but find things that help you um cope in better ways, find things that help you react in ways that are conducive to the situation and are in alignment with the ways that you actually want to move and carry yourself. Okay. Affirmation: I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm fearless. I am my own hero. You are your own hero, whether you have a support system or not, whether you feel alone or not. You are your own hero. Okay. So show up for you, stand up for you this week, and be brave. And then the last one you have is positive. I am inspired, motivated, and proactive. I make the best out of every situation. So within having these negative feelings, we do have being brave. We do have situations where we can step up and show ourselves and sit in our power. And then we also have this positive energy. So we may be like vacillating back and forth between these things, or going back and forth between these feelings or these emotions this week. It may be that we feel this one way one part of the week, and then we feel this way, or like vice versa. Or we just may have moments where we feel like this, but overall, we're feeling inspired, we're feeling motivated, we're feeling proactive, partially because we don't allow ourselves to sit in this place, and we make a concerted effort not to allow ourselves to sit in these places, or to get to the root of why we're feeling this and not just let it linger. Okay. And we make the best of whatever situations are presented to us, because we can and we will. Okay. So let's see what these questions are. Is your glass half full or half empty? What is in the half part? And what is missing in the empty space? I think this is really key to ask ourselves, and this will help you answer or like move through the things that you're feeling worried about this week, or the things that you're feeling that come up when you're feeling lonely, or when you think about like the people that are around you, or like being in your head. This will help you kind of get out of your head. Does your life reflect a positive or negative attitude? Does your week reflect a positive or negative attitude? How is your attitude in general? It may be for some people your attitude in general. It may be for some people just your attitude in parts of this week, or with certain situations, or with certain people, or when you let these things rule and affect your mood. Okay. What would your positive message be to others? Remind yourself whatever that message is. Affirmation: I breathe in positivity. I breathe out negativity. I embrace the rhythm of life in all its glory. I am a positive being. Okay, so I love those. Let's move into some specific things that may happen this week. Okay, so let's get into some specific things that may happen using our charms. I apologize, it's a little loud. The troll stuck to my hand. Okay. Okay, so we have a pumpkin, a leaf, another leaf, a dog with a bone, some fangs. I am not even too sure what this is. The first thing I saw was almost like a spoon sitting on the holder that you would sit on next to the stove, which is some real black ass shit to see in my head, but that's what it looked like to me. We'll get back to that. A troll, an alien head, it's always on the side, um, a mother maiden crone charm with a raven and a pentagram. Um, we have a mushroom and a heart and a star with some wings. Okay, so the first thing that we have something growing in the background this week. You have two leaves and a pumpkin. Okay, so something is definitely growing in the background this week. There's things happening. There's something percolating. There's something growing. There's something you're growing or working on that is starting to flourish. That's starting to shape up. That's starting to like get legs or something like that. Especially with the dog with the bone, something that you're working hard on this week. Something that you're like tenacious about. Something that you are really like diligent with. Something that you're really focused on this week will definitely grow into something bigger, depending on what it is that you are doing. Bits of fangs right here next to that. Be careful of somebody trying to bite your ideas, or somebody trying to claim your shit for theirs, somebody trying to like tear your shit apart, or like just coming for you this week and something that you're doing or something that you're trying to grow or something that you're working on. You may want to be mindful of telling people what the fuck you're doing. We have the microphone here as well, so like you may just want to like hold your shit tight to you. With the you have the dog with the bone. You may want to just hold it tight to you. You may not want to speak about what the fuck you got going on, in general, whether that's a project or something to do with work or something business related, like with your own business or something outside of like work and making money that you're working on or you're trying to do for yourself or something. Again, whatever it is, we kind of want to keep shit like tight, close to the vest this week, and maybe not shout out to the world what the fuck we're doing. With the microphone and the star with the wings, this feels like more shouting out who we are, like shining light on other people, spotlighting ourselves, highlighting what we do, less than like what we're actually literally doing. You know what I mean? More so like skill based, who you are, your personality, recognition for rewards and things that you have done may happen this week as well. You recognizing somebody else, if you're somebody who is an artist or sings, or creates things, you may be on a stage this week in some way, um, or people may be finding you and your art or your music. You may see like an increase in visibility this week, so that's also something to be mindful of. And with those fangs, you might want to just put in your protections or make sure that you are mindful of who's coming around. So like that's important. Okay. Moving this way with the spoon, the spoon and the holder. If this is a spoon and a holder, if that's how you see it too, like Rorschach type shit, okay, then again, it just moves into me with this thing. Like you got something cooking. Like you're either starting to do something sweet, you got something cooking, you got something brewing. You may actually be in the kitchen this week. You may start like, I don't know, cooking if you're not normally cooking, or you may like do a cooking class or do some kind of cooking for fun. You may cook for someone else. They may cook for you. You may like go to dinner or lunch or something like that, like home cooked. Even if you're going out, it's like a home cooked farm to table type Italian, um, fresh, or like if not Italian, then it's like a specific cuisine to like a specific area, but like very home cooked, very fresh, very like um what am I trying to say? Traditional cuisine, okay, is what I get from this. The Mother Maiden Crone energy comes in with this charm here. This is very pagan to me. It's number one, talking about protection energy. It again brings in this mother energy that we had in a different pile. I think it was pile two, if I'm not mistaken. So you may be dealing with like nurturing other people. You may be dealing with people nurturing you or how you were nurtured. It may relate to your mother. As of when I'm recording this, it was just Mother's Day yesterday in the US. So it may relate to your specific mother or mother figure. Like I said, if you are somebody who is Wicca or pagan, if you do works, you may want to connect with protection energy. You may want to, use a pentagram. May want to connect with the moon or the phases of the moon, wherever the moon phases in as of when you're seeing this, or to channel the energy of the raven, or to get a message through scrying, through doing work, something like that, or to do some kind of works this week. With this next to the alien, it also feels like connecting with specific spirits. I am not Wicca or pagan, but the first thing I thought of when I saw this was Hecate, other than the mother maiden crone. I thought of Hecate, and I don't know if she is related to that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do not know that much about Hecate. Hey, girl, hey. But if you are, then like, look at me. I'm on the right track. Okay. And y'all can let me know in the comments because I really don't know. I have no idea. I don't know much about her. Or like another related deity that would like come up to you with these things, with these different symbols: the moon, the raven, and the pentagram. So if you have any spirits that you know that are related to that with you, then that's definitely a thing. Um, the oh, the mushroom next to that also gives like um, moving between realms or moving between worlds, astral traveling, being able to communicate with spirits or the other sides or the other dimensions and things like that. Being able to um, like lift the veil in a sense. And maybe with the mushroom that some people are doing things that would enhance that energy, if you feel what I'm saying. Okay. Uh-huh. So yeah. We have this tiny heart here, so there's a little bit of love this week. There's a little bit of love that comes in because it almost feels like antique. It may be that somebody comes back in. It may be that you are thinking about past or old love, or maybe like trying to get that old feeling back. Or for some people trying to get that old thing back. But it does feel like feeling that old feeling of love, getting that feeling back that you may have lost in some way or in some situation. And then we have our troll here. And funny enough, I talk about the troll in a reading I did. Um, what was it? Oh, for the month, the monthly collective reading for May, the podcast episode. I will link that. It's already linked in the show notes, but in part one, we talk about what the troll symbolized for the man that made the troll. So number one, the first thing I thought of with this is one of the things I talk about in the May Collective, which is he had lost his job. Okay, he was a baker. He'd lost his job. He was whittling little trolls and shit. And his wife was like, "Oh, those are really cute. You should sell them." And so he transitioned from being a baker to selling cute little troll dolls and made thousands upon millions of dollars. Okay. And so it may be this week that you need to transition or pivot in something. Part of the reason he made them specifically trolls is because he wanted to like change the image from something ugly to something beautiful. Okay. So there may be something that you're transitioning this week. There may be something that you're able to change from something that wasn't working to something that does work, or from, ugly to beautiful in some way. You may be bringing that energy to somebody else. It's also about like good fortune and happiness and positivity. And again, you had that positivity card. So it may be that you're bringing happiness, positivity to yourself, to others this week, that other people are bringing that to you and like bringing you out of that lonely worry space, or that being stuck in your brain space that we were going through before. So that may be part of what we have here as well. So this is what I get for the specific things that may happen this week. Let's end your reading with some words of wisdom. Okay. So we are using the Angel Number Oracle card. Okay. All right. 1414, light up. Good vibes, balance, respect, family, optimism, quality, new connections, joy. Focus on your needs, desires, and passions. A lighthearted approach makes everything more accessible. New opportunities, a fresh friendship, or even an addition to your family are on the horizon. Positive energy will accelerate the flow of blessings coming your way. 2323, endless cycles. Charisma, communication, society, movement, journey, repetitive patterns, transformation. You may find yourself repeatedly resisting certain truths, leading to feelings of exhaustion and limitation. It is time to decide to live authentically for yourself, embracing your passion. By making this change, the world around you will begin to follow suit, breaking the cycle and fostering transformation. So, these are your words of wisdom for this week. And this was your reading, y'all. So, thank you so much for reading with me. Please let me know how your week is, how the messages resonate. Um, if you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. Make sure you're following the channel and share the message with somebody who may need it. If you're not already following the podcast, Tiny Musings with T, definitely follow the podcast. May Part 1 is out right now. May Part 2 should be out as of when this reading comes out, but if not, it will come out in a day or two. And follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. Again, thank you so much for reading with me. If you have another pile, I will see you there, or another number, I'll see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading.